Hey, everybody.
Coach?
Barry, it seems like the accolades and attention that Chase Brown's getting are well deserved, but is there a case that Tommy DeVito is being underappreciated?
Well, he's not inside the walls, I can promise you that, of our building. I mean, the way he's operated and the way he's playing at a really high level has afforded us to be, I would say, extremely balanced in what we're doing and efficient what we're doing offensively. So I can't say enough again about how he's playing and he's seeing things and just how he's leading our offense. He's a really nice compliment, as a unit to what we're doing in the running game.
What's making him so efficient and avoiding incompletions and interceptions?
Well, I mean, obviously, some of it is the design of, and I'm not saying that's from my perspective, like I'm designing them, just like some of it is it's a lot of quick and intermediate things that are, generally speaking, no matter what scheme you're in, are higher percentage, but his precision and decision making and when he takes those and when he doesn't, and he's just been spot on. And so, and obviously we're catching the ball. Casey made an incredible catch the other day on a big play that kept our drive going, or not kept our drive going, but gave us a first down on 2nd and 8. And so it's a little bit of everything. Guys catching the ball, running the right route with detail and good fundamentals, and then Tommy just delivering the ball on time has really been a good recipe for us to get the ball out of our hand quickly and be efficient in the passing game.
Barry, you guys have dominated time of possession in the second half. I think it's 34 minutes plus in the fourth quarter. How is that by design? Like how do you do that? How do you balance that with scoring?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. Well, the truth is, I mean, I think this is right. It's the 5th or 6th game that we played that really in the fourth quarter, the entirety of the fourth quarter is kind of like 4-minute offense. If not some of that late in the third quarter. To where as well as our defense has been playing and the game's really under control, it's more than a two-sport game. I look back at Wyoming was like that, Virginia was like that, Chattanooga was like that, Wisconsin was like that, Minnesota was like that, and then the other day was like that. So we've had several games that, that we were fully in control of the game because of the way that we had played through the course of the game on all phases, and we get into the fourth quarter and really you're just, you go into the mode of treating it like 4-minute offense, like you're going to grind it out, try to get a few first downs, make the clock run, make them use timeouts, flip the field on punts. And so it's a fine line to balance between, to stay aggressive and stay in your normal operating mode of your offense, or the ultimate goal is to win the game. And that's my job as the offensive coordinator to do what's best in our best interest to win those games. And I think all those games have kind of played out similarly in the fact that, we were in such control of the game in the fourth quarter, we were afforded to get in that 4-minute mode. That's a good thing because at the end of those games, we've won all of them. And so completely comfortable with that. I think that's the right way to approach it. And it's a good thing. I've been in games where you've been in 2-minute mode in the fourth quarter, been some down score, 2 or 3 scores and trying to scramble to make up. So I think it's been a great formula for us.
You still have to execute 4-minute offense.
Yeah.
How have you guys been able to execute?
Yeah, for sure you do. I think part of it is we've maybe worn some people down too on the other side, and they may understand the game's in control. But the other day we made some nice first downs in that situation, a couple of them through passing. But obviously I think that's when our running game has taken over some in the fourth quarter. We haven't been perfect in that regard, but we've sustained some drives and taken some time off the clock and flipped the field and made some first downs and kicked a few field goals in those situations.
Coach, tomorrow night, college football playoff rankings are coming out. Illinois has never been in there, so it looks like he will be this year. What does that mean to the staff, to the players? What do you think it'll be for you guys?
Yeah, I think it's probably similar to the way the ranking was a few weeks ago when that was the first time that had been ranked in a while. And I think it's something that we're all proud of. We also and it's been something that's been earned, through the course of the way we played as a team through the season. But I think we all understand too that even though it's a really nice honor to be recognized for a program, it helps. It's positive in recruiting, it's positive in branding and all those things. But ultimately, we all desire more, and we know that if we put our best foot forward each week, then have an opportunity to win a game, then that just strengthens those things. And so, but nonetheless, I think everybody will be excited if that comes true.
Will you tune in? Will there be appointment TV for you tomorrow
No,
night?
it will not be. My TV will be watching Michigan State film, and I'm sure we'll probably find out through, like you do on all other things that happen in this world, through social media or a text chain, you find out some information like that. But I think we'll be focused on watching Michigan State film and not that broadcast.
Barry, how would you evaluate how you guys were in the red zone Saturday, and especially right before that first half when you were able to get those 2 scores?
Yeah, I think those were really critical. Obviously that turned the game in my opinion, the turnover that we got, the interception return that Sydney did to get us on 1st and goal on the 11. And, I was real pleased with, obviously, that first play. Man, that was one of the more fun, moments from an offensive standpoint. That first play, that run that we made for 10 yards, our line, our surge was incredible. And I really saw Chase hit a different gear. And when he just kind of decided to commit to get in there and get us on 1st and goal, and popped it in the next time. And then more importantly than that, or as importantly, is, the drive right before halftime, it kind of turned into like a controlled 2-minute drive. We were trying to be quick. That's one of the advantages of a no-huddle offense, I think, is in those situations, you don't have to. We were still doing runs and then 12 personnel some during that drive right before half, but it kind of unfolded like a 2-minute drive. And I thought we had a great deal of poise there, and to be able to punch that in the end zone. I think at that point in time, we really took control of the game. I think it made it 20-9, and their quarterback was out at that point in time. And I think we all felt like, we had gained control of the game. But those two particular drives were huge for us, and to get 2 touchdowns down there through execution, it was good to see our game plan, the time we spent practicing leading up to it really unfolded exactly the way that we had practiced it, and so did the one that led to the field goal as well. But those 2 in particular, I think that was a big breakthrough for us to be able to punch those in, and our players did a really nice job there.
Coach, what have you seen on film from the Michigan State defense? Anything unique about them?
Well, I don't know about unique to the league, but I see I've been really impressed with their physicality, the front. They have really good size and strength up front, and they'll tackle you. I've been impressed with what I see on the film from a physicality standpoint. I think this will be one of the more physical D lines that we played up to this point. And so really impressed with the way they carry their pads and play with leverage inside.
Seems like that wheel route with Chase has hit a few times. What is it about that makes that such a successful play for you guys?
Well, I think probably some of it stems from them being focused on him in the run game, so the box gets a little compacted. And the other one is just, you turn on college football or NFL football and Saturdays and Sundays, you're going to see a variation of that to some degree from about every team that plays. Maybe not every team, but a lot of the teams that play. And it's just kind of been one of the staples for us in our passing game, and that we've had success with from day one since I've been here in spring practice and fall camp. And something that we've, kind of really, when we sat back in the self-scout through the break, when we had the open date, that was one of the concepts that we felt like needed to show up more for us, and certainly did on Saturday. It was huge for us, that we were able to hit those 2 different times. One of the first touchdown we had, that Isaiah caught, was actually Chase out of the backfield as well. And actually we had an opportunity to throw Chase on another touchdown, maybe potentially on it as well. So it was a good concept, something that we need to continue to use, and that complement our run game.
When you're designing that, are you expecting him to be that open?
Well, no, you don't design them to do that. If that was the case, you would call a whole bunch more of them, right? If you knew you're going to build design to get a guy clean like that. But just something that he's definitely a priority in the read, in the progression of things. It just so happened that he popped the other day, similarly like he did the first play of the season or second play of the season against Wyoming. Very similar concept.
I guess in regard to what you called it, the arranged marriage with Tommy, was there a moment at any point in spring or summer, like you felt like that union, just to further the metaphor a little bit, was going to be a good one?
After we went through practice the first few days, and he got more and more comfortable with the lingo and the verbiage of the offense, of communicating the signal and transitioning that to the offensive line. There was a period, I can't remember when it was, but about halfway through spring, where I could see how comfortable he was and what we were doing. There was maybe a decision he made. He pulled the ball and spit the ball out like just in a split second. And I was like, man, what? I was like, I think I asked him. He wouldn't remember this, and I just kind of vaguely remember the details. But it was like, what'd you see there? He said, well, I saw the backer kind of get his feet flat and just flipped it out there. I was like, okay, there you go. That's good. He was talking the right kind of language, and you could just see that he was comfortable in what we were trying to do, and his background in a system, being in the gun for as long as he had been in the shotgun. I think he was it was obvious that he was very comfortable being back there for us. So I think he just continues to get more and more comfortable as the week goes on, and weeks go by, and I think he's got a great feel for what we're trying to do and how we're trying to play.
Isaiah Williams is pretty resilient for a smaller receiver. What makes him tick? What makes him keep getting back up after taking some shots?
You know, I think he's got incredible character. You know, he's got a lot of depth to him. Not only has he got a great deal of talent, but I think it's been well documented the things he's been through as a player. I was actually quite fascinated and interested to read and hear about some of that as well. You know, as a transition from a highly recruited quarterback to, you know, transitioning to a position that, you know, just basically experiencing what a lot of college players experience, a extreme amount of success in high school. Their first real amount of adversity through a football standpoint usually hits them in the face when they get to college, and he kind of epitomizes that. You know, he went through a great deal of that, and so I think that's really helped shape who he was or who he is. And so I think when, you know, a mistake's made, I think he's got a great deal of you know, kind of a lot of in the reserve of memory, and you know, a lot of those sort of perseverance, you know, and character to him. So I think that allows him to be able to bounce back from when things kind of have maybe not gone his way, because I think he knows that that's just a little flash in the pan, and he really has bounced back in those moments for us.
Do you evaluate those mistakes, whether it's the fumble or the running out of bounds on the double pass, as just him trying too hard or trying to do too much?
No, I put him in a bad position on the double pass. You know,
Okay.
that I didn't think twice about that. I mean, but yeah, I mean, just not
On the
trying.
fumble, is it just him trying to do too much?
I think that's just, I don't think it's about doing too much. I think it's just kind of that's probably a 1 in 1,000 deal. You know, he's changing the ball in the hands, and the ball just one of those things. Sometimes the ball, I mean, you see it all the time in football. I mean, guys reaching out in the end zone, the ball drift. I mean, you know, goofy stuff happens in the game. The ball bounces goofy ways. That's why it's shaped the way it is, you know, and I just kind of, you know, obviously it's a big deal. I'm not trying to sweep it under the rug to say, man, oh yeah, no big deal. I mean, we all know that we, you know, we can't be putting ourselves in a position like that. But I don't really attribute to anything. I know that's something that, you know, he'll address, and I think he'll learn from and move on.
Is Tommy's quick trigger and his efficiency, has that allowed you to do different things as a play caller or more?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just gives me an extreme amount of confidence that when I call something in the passing game, that the ball's going to be going to the right guy with a great timing, and I think our receivers have a great deal of trust in that. So I think it just gives, anytime you have a trust, and trust is a two-way street. He trusts me, and I trust him. I think that's a positive thing, and you know, I know he's like any quarterback, any good quarterback. I mean, he wants the ball in his hand, you know, and he made some great decisions the other day with the ball in his hand in the run game. I mean, he pulled down a couple of, you know, runs and on reads, and showing that he's got the ability to do that, and he's a legitimate threat when he does. We don't want him to pull the ball a whole lot. We're trying to get the balls, you know, to be direct runs and give the ball to Chase and Reggie and Josh and our backs, but he's got the ability to do that with his legs too. So he's just in total control of what we're doing offensively. That doesn't mean he's impeccable or is not making a mistake or two. You know, I think, excuse me, there was a couple decisions the other day that he would like back. You know, we kind of got a weird look on one of we threw a bubble out to Hank, and to be honest with you, the defense gave us a kind of a faux look. You know, a little bit of a false read. You know, that would be one that maybe he would want to have back, but out of 25 plays 20 to 30 plays, he's making decisions, man, he's pretty spot on. And it's been pretty impressive to watch and follow as his coach.
I mean, I guess the idea when you add a transfer quarterback that you expect to maybe start and lead the team is for something like this to happen, but for Tommy to be, as you say, like in total control, I mean, is this maybe more than your anticipation?
Well, I mean, I would say that he's probably exceeding, meeting and then exceeding expectations. I didn't really have any, you know, with him. We wanted to add another, you know, part of it was been well documented. You know, that was done before I got here, but you know, 100% would recruit him myself if I had the opportunity to do it. You know, and I mean, that's kind of an obvious statement. Now, after you see the way he's playing, I mean, I'm not really going out on a limb there to say we would recruit him all over again, but you know, you want to when you bring guys in at all positions, you want them to add depth, right? You want them to add competition, which he did, we clearly did. And then you would hope that, I don't think we ever bring anybody in with the idea that they're going to win the job or got to be the guy, but you want, obviously, every guy you bring in, especially an older player, you want them to impact your roster instantly. And you know, I think we can't say enough about how Tommy has impacted our team with the way he's come in and taken control of it.
Barry, I don't know if you knew what you were going to get out of Alex Pilstrom, and when you got here, moving to center, how is he playing now compared to what he was at the beginning of the year and what he was in the spring?
Yeah, he just keeps getting better and better. And I tell you, life's tough in the trenches in the Big Ten. And he's playing against some really good people, some physical people interiorly, and just continues to play with poise. Spends a lot of time with Bart on his own. Always wanting more knowledge, and he captains our ship up there. I mean, shoot, I was really impressed with how we had one pre-snap flinch the other day. I think it was the second series we were backed up. It was loud. I mean, it was loud. I was really impressed by the environment. I thought we did a great job of preparing our guys for the environment in practice. I don't know if anybody lived within a 5 square mile around here. They got used to it too, probably, but we one of the things we wanted to do is have poise in that noise, and I thought we'd handled that really well. And he, in particular, I mean, that's a great deal going on. He's communicating, he's making calls. I mean, the crowd's going nuts on third down. He's got to listen to Tommy and the snap count, and I think he just handled it really well for us. And that was a big part of our game on Saturday.
I know we've talked a
Time
lot.
for one or two more.
I know we've talked a lot about Tommy's demeanor, but when you get into these games in a race for a division, or you're on the road in tough environments, what's the value or importance of having a guy who said he never really gets scared? Or
I think he's right. I think he's right. I think he likes going on the road. I mean, he was excited about the opportunity to go in the environment. He's more excited about being back home. I mean, I know he even talked about that yesterday. Our players are excited to be back here, and with the momentum that's been created and the buzz, I think they all feel that and are excited to put together a good work week to be able to come, play in front of our people. But yeah, I mean, him in particular. I mean, he's tough. He's tough, and he's confident. He sets a strong jaw, and he goes to work. He doesn't let mistakes rattle him, and obviously he's got to continue to be at his best for us to go win on Saturday, playing a good defense and a good football team and a Big Ten opponent. I mean, but man, we've talked a lot about him today, but I think that's all merited, to be honest with you.
I guess that by Isaiah has been your only turnover over the last 2 weeks. How have you guys been able to minimize those after the start of the season?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think fundamentals, focus on it. I mean, I think everybody a heightened sense of awareness to understand, how important taking care of the ball is, and I think we kind of documented that earlier in the year, that each one of those earlier in the year was kind of all different. I mean, the Indiana game was kind of some misfortune in some ways, a few different ones, but since we've really leveled off in that area and continue to take care of the ball, which will be critical in a Big Ten game coming here on Saturday. You got to take care of the ball. We win the turnover battle like we did on Saturday. That's a good thing for our football team, and we obviously, as well as our defense took it, we did a pretty good job of protecting it. Besides the one, which was a huge one, and but our defense bowed their necks like they've done all year long, and really stymied that.
Thanks, guys.